It's safe to say that Michael Jackson was a lover of all things Marvel entertainment. During a 1995 web chat with fans, he said that his favorite superhero was Morph. And then, of course, there were the Spider-Man pajamas and masks that we saw throughout the years. So, Michael was definitely a big Marvel fan. But as is the case with all things Michael Jackson, there's been some misconceptions in regards to his interest in buying Marvel. So, we're going to clear that up. So let's take a minute to set the scene. Back in the 1990s, Marvel was not the Marvel that we know today. They were struggling as far as success and profitability, which led to them filing for bankruptcy in 1996, and that action prompted them to start having conversations about restructuring and taking Marvel down a different direction. Now, as we just mentioned, Michael was a lover of all things Marvel, superheroes, and he especially loved Spider-Man. Now, with the door being open, so to speak, as far as Marvel going down different directions or new directions, there was obviously, some interest behind the scenes from a lot of different people. And that includes Michael Jackson. Now, according to Stan Lee, Michael wanted to play Spider-Man, but he felt like the only way he would be given that chance would be if he were to buy Marvel himself. Now, before we move on to what happened next, I do want to pause and show you guys the footage of Michael talking about his love of Morph with fans during that 1995 web chat. So let's take a look at that.
Any superhero, like Batman, Superman, who would you choose to be and why? Gee, I like Batman a lot. I like Morph from the X-Men, because he's constantly transforms himself. He could become anything, and when you're not expecting him, he's there, and he's very mysterious. And I think he can even teleport, which is exciting to me. And be in one place at one moment, and another place at another moment. And he can be all things, become all things. That's exciting to me. So I think I like Morph. He's not as popular as the others, but that's why he's exciting.
So, like we said, this is very well documented as far as Michael's love of superheroes, Marvel, Spider-Man, etc., etc. Now, back to the conversation of Michael supposedly wanting to buy Marvel. Stan Lee confirmed that these conversations did indeed happen. And in fact, there's video footage of the two meeting at the Marvel headquarters sometime around 1999, 2000-ish. So let's take a look at those clips.
Did you ever see that one?
No. The whole book was dedicated to Stan.
The whole book was so cool.
Yeah. We have some upstairs, I think.
Stan, I got Daredevil's number 1s,
You're
15, Hulk
Really?
number 1s.
And you go through here to get in.
What are you going to do now with this?
Kidnap you.
No, this is our digital animation studio.
This part?
Yeah, and this is Stan's vault. We do live webcasts from
Keep my
Stan's
money.
vault.
Would you believe this used to be a bank, and when we took it over, they couldn't move the vault.
Really?
Oh, I will.
So they had to leave it here.
I'm glad they did.
Yeah.
The only guy who has his own bank vault. Look at
But Michael's the one that needs it.
Mike, I'll rent it here.
So we're going to do webcasts of auctions
Look at
here.
that, huh? My door.
Stan's door.
Oh, you gave him an idea now,
Can
Stan.
you imagine if
Oh,
you
now he's going to build a bank vault.
Uh-oh.
You don't have to. I'll share it with you.
Oh, yeah.
What's that? Come look at
Like this.
I know, I'm trying to
So
talk
we have painters down here.
Mike, you know that bear
my God.
hug wheel?
Oh.
You just painted it, yeah.
Look at this one.
Oh.
Come on back.
A little bit like the same, but more
Those
gruesome.
acrylics? Wow.
That's a work in progress.
Now, if you're looking for some sort of documentation, on paper documentation, so to speak, of this, that has not been made public to our knowledge. And it honestly might not have even gotten there. It could have just been casual, informal discussions or off-the-record discussions that didn't progress past a certain point. That said, Stan Lee, again, Stan Lee said directly that these conversations did happen, that Michael was interested in Marvel, but that his main reason for wanting to buy Marvel was because he wanted to play Spider-Man, and he felt like that would be the only way he could do it. What some media publications have reported was that Michael was almost cast as Spider-Man. There does not appear to be any indicator of that. Nothing about him auditioning. Like, it appears that these talks stalled long before that 2002 Spider-Man film. So it's pretty much exactly what Stan Lee said, which was Michael was interested in playing Spider-Man. The way he felt he could do it was by buying Marvel, and they had conversations, but obviously those conversations did not go beyond a certain point. That said, that shows you just how much Michael loved superheroes, Marvel, Spider-Man, etc., because he wanted to be Spider-Man so much that he was willing to buy Marvel to do so at a certain point. And while that might not have ended up working out, of course, Michael Jackson himself was the ultimate superhero in his own way. We've got plenty more of these videos in store for you. But in the meantime, thanks for tuning in, and remember, facts don't lie, but people do.